Hello, I'm EP the Philosophy Gamer, and this is just a short video going over how to max out every character in Trails into Reverie quickly and efficiently. Before we begin, make sure that you have unlocked the 0th stratum in the True Reverie corridor during post-game or a New Game Plus run. If you try doing this earlier in the game in a lower stratum, the rewards you'll gain from farming will be noticeably smaller, dragging out the entire process. You also want to make sure that you finished all of the story events as well as group missions that reward Black Sea Marine ore, so that, you don't over farm for things you could have gotten for free. Lastly, change the game's difficulty to Nightmare with 50 or 100 extra levels depending on how strong you are. You want to make sure that enemies are tough enough to not die immediately, but not so strong that you can't kill them quickly, or so fast that they get the first turn. We're going to go through the how before the why, so try to reserve all questions for the end. And with all that out of the way, let's get to it. All we're going to do is run the 0th stratum of the True Reverie corridor over and over again while maximizing our Seafoth gains, item drops, EXP distribution, and accessory shards. After 12 to 13 runs of this, every Master Quartz and character will be basically maxed out with their own personal accessories and custom builds. Start by forming two parties, a farming team of Elisa, Toa, Machias, and Reen, and a reserve team of characters you want to train or gear up. For the farming team, equip each of the characters with the quartz and accessories you see on the screen right now. If you don't have these characters as personal accessories yet, you can use various gladiator belts as substitutes like I do in this video until you earn them during your first run. For the reserve team, make sure that at least one character is equipped to deal a lot of damage very quickly, and that the rest have Master Quartz that you want to train up equipped. Lastly, check to make sure that your party is arranged so that Toa's energy rain can hit everyone, and that Reen has shredded leaves set as his S break. When you're ready, reset the corridor, enter the 0th stratum, and start attacking everything with a pulse. In battle, you're going to follow a very specific order of operations. Step 1, have Elisa use Chrono Burst. Step 2, use Heavenly Gift. Step 3, S break with Reen and Machias. Step 4, cast Saintly Force to max out Elisa's ATS. Step 5, on Toa's turn, use Energy Rain. Step 6, S-Break with Reen and Machias again, and then Step 7, cast Albion Wolf and win the fight. If you don't win after one Albion Wolf, just keep casting it and attacking with everyone else until the enemies are dead. If this happens often, consider dropping the difficulty or the enemy levels. Again, you just want to make sure that you can fire off 2 S-Crafts each with Machias and Reen. Elisa's Albion Wolf is just a glorified Control-Alt-Delete key. When you get to a formidable foe, stop, save your game, drop the difficulty to very easy, and swap in your reserve team. Then kill the foe as fast as possible. Does not matter how. If the enemy drops a Sealing Stone, reload the game, ignore it, and move on. If it drops an accessory shard, keep track of the position of the character who got the shard, then reload the game and swap whomever you want to get the shard into that position. Drop the difficulty down to very easy, in case you forget, then fight the enemy and collect your shard. Finally, go backwards and check the other formidable foes you skipped to see if they now drop accessory shards. In the interest of time, I recommend saving this step for the end of the entire run since the floors will all be cleared out. But you can do this whenever you feel like. So that's the gist of it. You'll have around 60k of every type of Seafoth and maxed out Seafoth masses at the end of every run, so make sure that you either spend or convert your Seafoth into Mira before starting another run. I also recommend holding on to your Sealing Stones until the end, but if you don't care about hunting for unique quartz, you can spend them at your discretion. Assuming that you're fighting every normal enemy, opening every chest, and skipping formidable foes for after you've cleaned out the dungeon, it takes an average of about 5 minutes to clean out a floor. Since there are 9 normal floors in this dungeon, you're looking at an average of 45 minutes per run. Bosses take between half an hour and a full hour to clean out, depending on how anal you are about getting a shard from every boss, giving us a total time of 1 hour and 15 to a little over an hour and a half per run. There are 51 characters in this game, and we are training 4 at a time, minus the 4 in our farming party. So dividing 47 into 4 gives us a total of 12 runs to train the entire roster. 12 times an hour and 15 gives us about 16 hours of dungeon crawling to max out the entire cast, which isn't too shabby. Now, let's talk nuts and bolts so that you can understand why we're doing everything in this very specific way. Starting with the farming team, Kaleido, Elixir, and Seafoth upturns grant Seafoth every time an enemy is struck by an attack animation. Machias and Reen have S-Crafts with the 2 highest numbers of animation hits in the game, at 24 and 20 hits respectively. So Reen and Machias are both required characters and need to use their weakest weapons so that they don't accidentally kill enemies with 4S rated attacks. Elisa is the only character in the game who can put CP regen on multiple characters simultaneously with a craft, enabling Rena and Machias to recuperate their CP after using their S-crafts. She is therefore also required. However, that CP regen alone is not enough for a character to throw out another S-craft immediately, so the boys need an extra push from another CP generator. Emma, Altina, Toa, Alphen, Ellie, Elise, and Celine can technically all do this, and if you wanted to push a third S-craft from Rena and Machias, Emma and Alphen are your two actual choices. However, Toa is the only character in the game who can restore EP and CP simultaneously, and she's the only character listed who has the art support link ability. So she can not only give Machias and Rena enough CP to throw their S-crafts a second time, she also dramatically increases Elisa's damage output while ensuring that she can use Chrono Burst and Albion Wolf in every battle, even when they're extremely close together. Put bluntly, using Toa cuts out all the micromanagement that would otherwise slow down your progress through the dungeon, so she is the preferred pick. As for accessories, the only reason the farming team wants personal accessories is because they give you enough CP regen to hit our aggressive S-craft timings while freeing up the second accessory slot for ailment blockers, specifically the yellow series of accessories. These will protect your farmers from the seal and mute floors in the dungeon, again, allowing us to keep things running smoothly. On that note, some floors have mirrors on them that can completely shut down your S-crafts and arts casting. For that reason, Elisa was spec'd to increase the power of Albion Wolf so that she can bypass the protection entirely without losing damage. But for physical mirrors, you can either switch to Rene's Breaking Dawn to all cancel them, while lowering your Seafoth income, or just ignore them. On that same note, Rene and Machias are both using Rakan Gems and Septian Vein. These quartz increase Seafoth drops from every Kaleido proc, dramatically increasing our Seafoth income. However, as became clear from testing this method, the Seafoth drops from multiple Rakan Gems do not stack. The reason we're using multiple Rakan Gems is for the break damage increase and nothing else. Finally, a small thing you can do to improve this method is to try to make sure that whichever character has Emblem as a main Master Quartz is the one scoring breaks. If the Emblem character scores the break or kills the enemy, you get 3 extra copies of whatever the enemy's dropped. Almost every enemy in the Zero Stratum drops U material, making this extremely lucrative for farming that resource passively as you work your way through the dungeon. I gave Emblem to Machias because his S-crafts inflict random status ailments, and in this game, death is considered a status ailment. Whichever character you choose, it's recommended that you also give them a Domination Quartz to help out with that initial break, and to ensure that there's an initial disparity between them and the other Seafoth farmer. And that's about all of the character specifics you need to be aware of. Beyond that, just make sure that Elisa is noticeably faster than everyone else and is your lead character so that she always goes first. You can feel free to mess with builds as long as you make sure that you can always follow the procedure. Okay, so this method will farm out levels, Seafoth, Mira, quartz, and accessories. But what about special quartz and stat boosters? Well, the 4 unique quartz, Kyokotsu, Ryuko, Kagura, to Lion King, can only be acquired as special rewards from tasks you've already accomplished. Random drops from chests in high strata will also drop them, as well as high-level sealing stones. Assuming you followed my advice and don't open your stones immediately, you should have hundreds of sealing stones from all the enemies you killed by the time you're done farming. As you've probably already guessed, the game's RNG resets whenever you kill a formidable foe, so with that in mind, you can start safe scumming the sealing stones by checking them, then reloading and killing formidable foes if you don't like the drops. Frankly, the only things really worth suffering through this for are copies of Lion King and Melville Arc. Otherwise, this is totally skippable. The other unique quartz are mostly useless beyond a single copy, with one exception, I guess, in Kagura. Stat boosters are a little bit messier, but they are still really easy to farm, assuming that your part's in the last dungeon of the game. There are 5 renewable methods for getting stat boosters, 3 in the TRC and 2 in the real world. In the TRC, your options are exchanging fish, exchanging phantasmal shards, and killing bosses in the Zero Stratum. All of these methods are exceedingly slow, annoying, and unreliable. In the real world, however, you can just buy them for 10,000 Mira apiece at Barca Casino, or farm them as normal enemy drops. The Barca Casino method is a lot faster than everything in the TRC, since exchanging Seafoth for Mira via the Seafoth farming method already gets you over 30,000 Mira per fight. However, the drop method is orders of magnitude faster, and it doesn't cost you anything. The only catch is that you're going to have to slog your way through literally the entire game until you're standing right before the final boss, which, to be fair, only takes a handful of hours. So, whatever, hop to it. Once you're there, lower the difficulty down to very easy, outfit one character with emblem and enough firepower to one-shot the boss in the dungeon, then just fast travel your way around the dungeon, sniping the formidable foes over and over again. Certain formidable foes drop +5 stat boosters in bulk, and with emblem you're getting 3 extra drops on top of the 2 to 5 they already put out. To put that in perspective, getting 6 +5s is like getting 300,000 Mira of value every 10 seconds. It's insane. The specific targets you're looking for are divided into 2 sets, one on the 3A fast travel point and the other on the 3B fast travel point. 3A has one enemy with DEF boosters followed by another enemy with ATS boosters. 3B has one enemy with an ADF booster followed by another enemy with an STR booster. For general advice, STR is the easiest thing to farm in this dungeon, as there are 2 enemies who drop STR boosters and they are within walking distance of the other while being separated by a loading screen. So if all you want is strength, you can just run back and forth killing one and then the other. I didn't see a good way to farm HP boosters with this particular method, but I mean, do you really even need it when your defense can literally go over 9,000 and the strongest enemy in the game on Abyss difficulty with +100 levels still has a stat cap of 8,400 STR? I mean, you shouldn't, but you do you, man. Anyway, just farm until your character's stats reach whatever broken ass level you want. I've personally never bothered with this method because I thought the game was easy enough as is, but again, you do you. It's here if you want it. And that is how you farm everything.